let's speak to a potential client. Like we said, so I am absolutely thrilled to bring up the lovely Traci Connell. Yes, she's my mother, but also a multi million-dollar business owner. And I personally believe you cannot be what you cannot see. And she has just told myself I wasn't going to cry. She has just been such an inspiration for me in my journey. And so thrilled to have you on here. So, um, Mom and Traci, tell us a little bit about your business.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, I'm teared up too. So I ventured into the online space. Oh gosh, it's interesting. I tried this 2 years ago. So a little bit about me. I'm an interior designer. I have had a firm for 23 years in Dallas, Texas, and it's been super successful. I've just really worked my butt off while raising these kids and as a single mom, and just made it into something I'm super proud of. But I felt like even when Ashley told me she was pregnant with Lottie, it was really interesting how that struck me because I ended up like starting to cry for a lot of different ways. I was so happy, but also I was like, with my business, it's so demanding. How am I going to have the time to go down 3.5 hours away to see my granddaughter and my daughter? So that is when this idea in my head of coaching interior designers on the business side, I had to make it happen. I tried to do it about 2 years ago, and here's the kicker. Great idea. I knew I could do this because I am a formally educated teacher. Okay, that's what my degree's in, elementary education. I did that for a while and then I morphed into the interior design. But what happened or now it's probably almost 3 years ago, I used people from my firm. I didn't use experts to try to help me launch this coaching program. And they were great, but they didn't have the expertise because the online world is just different. So I said, I took off. I privately coach, which is great for background. But then I was like, so this time last year, and I remember being at Ashley's house the end of December, signing up for a program that could really help me catapult my coaching business into something that's, bigger than what I expected. So I'm at the beginning, but I've been actively doing this for about a year now.
Love it, love it, love it. And yes, Lottie loves that she gets to see her CC on a regular basis. So tell me, would it be fair to say and to bring this all together, you are a subject matter expert in interior design, and you have a full-on business, and you have the side business that is coaching.
Correct.
Side. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Just wanted to bring that all in.
Correct.
So tell me about your strengths and why you would need someone like an OBM or an operator to run your business.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I am the ultimate visionary, entrepreneur, big idea person. I feel like my skill set is that it's also working one-on-one. I wouldn't say, like, I could see the overall picture, but I am not the one to make things happen. I can come up with ideas all day long, but I am not. I think it was Magnet mentioned, the integrator. So I am not the person to execute all my crazy ideas, and put them into play. So it's just not my strength. And it took me a while to figure out I can't do it all.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what do you appreciate about an implementer or an OBM that, like, what are those traits or what they're able to do that just like brings everything your crazy ideas to life? What is it?
Yeah. So once I realized my first plan of action and the help was not going to work, I knew I had to find experts to help me pull this coaching platform off. I have one in place now. And here's the thing, because I didn't know anything. And most like coaches in this world, when they start, they don't know anything about online running online businesses. It's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with the community, to execute things, to run a platform, to create deliverables. Like I wanted someone, I wanted the boss of me. I wanted someone to say, Traci, this is the way that it works. When you're in launch, I'm going to handle this. I'm going to handle the community. I'm going to respond to the community. I'm going to make sure all your deliverables are there. But because she's an expert in it, and I could show up and deliver the education to my students, it's just been huge. And she thinks before me. Like I don't know the things that she knows, but I know that using Asana or one of those other tools, I can put it on there and it's going to happen.
And so that's a good point. So do you care how it gets done, or you just say, hey, this needs to happen, and then the magic OBM fairy makes it happen? How does it work?
I mean, because they're experts and they know like the ins and outs, she's going to tell me, like, for example, I use Asana. If anybody, you guys know what that is, a task delegation tool, right?
Yep.
She does it on steroids. So I have lists, she has like sections and she's organized it all. So all I have to do is pop in there and I'm like, this is so visual and beautiful, whereas mine is not. And so she's got us organized, she has deadlines, and she set up the system to where like every Monday she does these 3 tasks. Every Wednesday she does
Oh, I
this,
love
like
it.
the newsletter, the things that, and she's like taking all these like crazy things in my head and putting them into like a container.
Yeah.
So it's easy for me to understand what's going to happen on a regular basis, because visionaries, we're everywhere, all our thoughts. So it's
I
really
want.
been great.
I love it. I wanted to like completely change our offering this week, I think 3 times. And Leah was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Ashley,
It's
let's
hard to tame the mind.
pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Um, I love it. I love it. Oh, Amber has a great question. How was the transition into, hey, I have this coaching business and now I want to bring someone in to help with the operations? Was there a learning curve? How did y'all get to know each other? And how did that go?
So, I mean, there was a learning curve, but what I hired her first, so like in the way I'm doing things, I launch a product. So kind of like what Ashley's doing, like she's launching a course, right? So that's what I do. And this OBM was an expert on launching. She's a launch specialist. And so she already had everything ready, all the checklists, all the templates, everything that they're talking about. Like she knows how to do it. And so during that launch, she took the pressure off of me. So I just explained to her what I wanted, like really the branding and the why behind what I was trying to do. So she started in the launch space. After we did a couple of launches is when I said, I've got to find an OBM. And I'm telling you, they were hard to find. They were hard to find. And she's not really one, but she kind of morphed into, oh, I can handle your operations, and
Patchwork quilt background, patchwork quilt, have some of this, some of this, some of this, some of this, bringing it all together.
right. And it's interesting, like how much money they get to do this. I mean, I'm like, whoa, but I know that's like the backbone of keeping this thing alive.
Oh, that's a
And
really good
so,
way of putting it. Backbone.
I mean, it really is. I mean, I think about it in the engagement, like she runs, the Facebook community. And like I said, like some of the, like she's helping even on the website and with strategy. Like that's the other thing too, because me,
Mm,
strategist, but I don't know what I don't know. And
yes.
in so I'm in a couple of masterminds that are all based like in the online business world. Everybody's, what they do? They're like, I want a virtual assistant, and that's all they know. And I'm like, a virtual assistant is not going to be trained in making this happen. They're just not. It's a different beast. And I'd rather somebody understand the online coaching or business world, because that's going to cut down on time and cost just to hire an expert.
100%. And but we have interviewed 100 coaches in the past 2 months, and I heard the same thing over and over again. As I got this VA, and it was not the best experience because she wasn't proactive; she was reactive. So every day I had to tell her exactly what to do, but
Right.
I didn't know what to do. So we were both looking at each other like, I guess, and now I'm wasting all this money. And
Right.
so I'm curious, in all of these masterminds and in communities that you're in with other coaches, are you hearing them wanting OBMs? Are you hearing that they are having this issue of finding this partner in crime, this thought partner that thinks differently? Like, is this even something that they care about?
I think if they're willing to invest, so by having that person early on, and I saved a little nest egg to bring them on, but gradually,
Yeah.
um, my on the revenue side was so much greater than it ever would have been if I did this myself.
Well,
So
you tried it.
because I tried it. And so I had such great results with them helping me through all these launches. I thought, okay, and then my colleagues, I don't think, I don't, because when I would even ask, like in like the closed Facebook groups for, all of these coaches, they don't even know. A lot of them even don't know what an OBM is, which is really interesting. And so, yes, they need, and again, they'll just hire like one little VA, but if they hired a specialist, oh my gosh. Yeah, and,
And
and that's why I was like, this is ideal for women. Because like I said, I have mine on a pedestal. I think like I do what she says. So, she's got authority to me. If she's got to go, like she's like, well, Wednesday morning, I'm seeing my therapist, so I'm not gonna be able to help you. I'm like, okay. you know? So the flexibility part too, because like she'll work at nights if she wants. Or, it's just to me, it's been a huge asset to me growing this platform.
uh, I love hearing that, and I love how you said that it's just ideal for caregivers, like moms who really need this. So, just to wrap things up, is there anything else? One other thing that I wanted to touch on. So, I, I was talking to, I mentioned this earlier, 8-figure coaching CEO, and she was saying how if you get ahead of the OBM curve, people will be chomping at the bit to hire you because they don't even realize this exists. And once they realize that it exists, they'll be throwing money at it because they need it so badly.
I 100% agree. Once they realize, because what's happening is I'm being brought back in like doing testimonials like this for this entire huge group, because they're like, how'd you get results so fast? How'd you get results? And it's because, of the support that I had. And so I do feel like, and again, I'm looking at the money they're making, and I'm like, whoa. But I've always known, like in the past year, this is something that there needs to be more of. And I feel like once the system's down, it's, the flexibility is there. And now granted, she does a lot of analytics with me, and
Yeah,
that's that every month or whatever. But yeah, I think in the next year, I think there are going to be more people diving into the education space and information knowledge base. And I just think it's going to be a position that we're going to need more people to help with.
I love it. I love it. I do want to be respectful of your time. Does anyone, we can maybe do one question if anyone has one?
Yeah, yeah, I can take a couple.
Oh, this is a good one. How many hours a week typically does your OBM handle operations and tasks for you?
That's a great idea because I don't know that. Here's a kicker. I pay her a flat rate every month. And I added it all up and I was trying to think, is this too much? Is it not? So it's a flat rate. And I feel like she's winning. I feel like she's winning because I'm like, I need to give her more stuff. Um, but I mean, I would say like the task, I mean, maybe an hour or two a day. Now during launch, it's more, but probably an hour or two a day, unless she's working on graphics for me or something like that. But I guess
Right.
early on, it takes more time to
Sure.
get her up to speed.
No, and that's something that we are really, really thinking about too is how do you present yourself with packages and not an hourly so you're not trading your time for money?
Yeah,
Um, Leah
yeah,
made a really good point this morning that when you work at a 9 to 5, you're essentially renting your time.
yeah.
And so, how do you create these packages? Because again, coaches will pay it because, I mean, you've skyrocketed your revenue. You probably, no matter how much she cost, you have multiplied her ROI by,
And that's exactly what she said to me. Because when I looked at the packages between the operations and the launch support, I was like, this is really a full-time salary for someone. If I
yeah,
looked at how much I would spend a year, I was like, whoa, this is a lot. But she came back to me and she's like, well, within 6 months, you've already made triple this in revenue. And that was only 6 months. So I couldn't argue with her.
yeah. You're like, okay,
So
I'll
I'm
do this
like,
all day.
okay, well, then this investment, I mean, really is a good ROI.
Awesome. 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 All right. Well, I know that you are a busy, busy lady. Um, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. This has been awesome as
Welcome.
always. Anything else you want to share with anybody?
I just feel like, again, a lot of us, and everybody's in a different position, but you know, when when we want the flexibility to be with our families, but to feel important and valued as a contributor, in a space online, I think that this is really a great opportunity because I know how I mean, I was struggling to find somebody and how badly I needed this position filled. So congrats to you and Leah for doing this because it's a game changer in my world. And I can imagine in so many others as well.
Uh, thank you, thank you, thank you, Mom.